Yo, what is up, my broskies? Today, I've got another tutorial. This time, I'm going to be covering Mischluft, full of these songs, and I'm going to be showing you how to make these synths, acid lines. My dog is going to help me make it too. Say something to the mic. That's right. Reset. Alright, let's get started. Now this is what we're making. And this too. So this is the reference track for it. And for the other one, this was... So for the main leads, always group all the main leads together. So I've got all my leads section. And so for the first synth, this is a vocal chop that I've actually got. So it's just sampled. And I'll have the project file links in the description. There's just an R vocal. Okay, so with this MIDI, what I've set is I've put it on the root note, which is E. And then I've also set it to portamento. And I've got them starting in the same time. Also, in the envelope section under MIDI control, I've set some MIDI bends. This gives it more of a natural like vocal feel, and so without it, but with this, there's a good technique for manipulating samples that you already have. What you can do is you just put a little bit of pitch bends, make it more natural. So in the actual processing of it, so if I set it to non-warped, so again, just to play around with it, what I do set this to warp, complex pro, formats, 85, envelope 93. With most of my vocals, I usually set it to complex pro, and then when I start to pitch shift it, it's when it sounds more natural. So just for the processing of this, it's just a little bit of EQing at the harsh frequencies, auto filter, some compression, and then I'll show you this gate technique as well, reverb as well, echo on that, and then auto pans. That way it pans left and right, and it's like another dynamic layer, which bounces off the main synth, which is like an octave lower, and so they can help like both push each other in the mix. Also, Ozone Imager. You know I love Ozone Imager. So you see it bouncing left or right. This is because of the auto pan. And so I set this rate to 2 bars and on 100%. So in this gate technique, right? Because if I was to turn this gate off, yeah, it sounds terrible, right? Doesn't sound like anything like. And so this is a really sick technique that you can use to make trance gates. So I've set just a gate. If I solo this, all I do is I set an arpeggiator, first of all, 1/16 notes, put that on 39%. You can change it what you see fit. I think 39% was perfect for this. And then in operator, just set one single oscillator and then set that to noise white. And you don't need to do anything else. Easy. And the most important thing, you turn it off. You turn it off here. And so in the synth section, what this synth is going to gate to is going to gate towards that noise white like arpeggiated thingo. So if I turn this gate back on, I can manipulate it to how open I want it to be. So I set the actual audio to be sidechained from gate, which I've renamed this. And then I just play around with the attack, the hold, the release settings, as well as the floor here. So how much do I want it to bleed in the attack? If I want to, that's too clicky. 13 milliseconds is actually okay. How much do I want it to hold before it stops? And then what I want the release to be? Do I want it to be natural, or do I want it to be really choppy, like a real trance gate? Yes, maybe just like 1 millisecond will sound good. And so then on what I did is I just duplicated this, but then I put a Serum synth onto this, just because the first vocal, it didn't actually have any mid-range, only like mid to high range. And so I want to fill that bottom frequency out. And the good thing is that when you've got these vocal chops and they play at the exact same time, no matter what, they'll actually sound cohesive. You don't need to use glue compression. You don't need to use all this stuff if they just play at the same time and they play on the same arpeggiation. Your brain naturally interprets it as the same sound. Where's Via just go? So you kind of think this is a vocal too. So this comes from my sample pack. MIDI keys. So with this, all I've got is 2 basic shapes, 1 3 octaves up, and then 1 octave up. And then what I've set is the FM from B, and I've also set the bend rate as well. And then in my LFO, I've actually set both the fine tuning to be panning up and down, which gives it that distorted, eerie, almost type feel, and it makes it more natural. And then in my envelope too, I've just got a bright white noise. Can't really hear it that much. And then I've set that also towards my cutoff section. And you notice I actually haven't set any B oscillators towards the MG low cutoff because it's already a sine, doesn't really matter. Put some chorus on that. And then also set the low pass rate to around 1000 because I don't want it to be bleeding into the main vocal. And then I've just chopped out some of the lows as well, and yeah, just bumped up the EQ a little bit. Almost like OTT type stuff when you raise up the high shelf again. So that's that. Play it all through. So Mischluft likes to have fast tempo songs, usually around 145 to 160 BPM, which is pushing it. For this instance, it's 160 BPM. Yeah, 160 BPM. So freaking fast. Oh my god. And then his second song's 150 BPM, which I'm going to get into now. Ooh. This is pretty simple. It's just an acid sound. There's nothing really too complicated about it. This is also in my Serum sample pack too. Coming out soon. Okay, so I've got a new Serum patch going here, and I'm just going to show you how simple this is to actually make with acid, and you can apply this to any sort of acid sound that you want to make. And I've actually got very similar patches for this and the second synth that he uses as well. So first, you go analog, and then you set it to basic shapes. Then you set that to saw wave, set that octave down 3, and then you want an acid sound to be very punchy and clicky. So set the decay to like 140 seconds. We might change that later. And then after, you will put MG. No, you're gonna do a bandpass 24. Set the resonance up, the drive up, of course. And then you're going to set this to around like 130 hertz. Also set your voicing, mono, legato, and then portamento as well. Put that up. And then, oh, wait, it's envelope 1. So this is the amp. You would have put this to like 130 milliseconds. And then in your envelope 2, you want to have that, so you're going to put this like 700k seconds. So you get that right? You're going to put the envelope onto the cutoff. You kind of hear it. Yo, my broskies, I'm not much of a YouTuber, but that being said, I produce a lot of music, producing for 8+ years. And if you found this tutorial useful at all, please just give it a like and comment what you want to see me do next as well. Subscribe as well. Hope you guys have a good day, and I hope you guys make some bangers, make some. And then in your effects is kind of what makes it, because you just want to freaking distort the shit out of it. The distortion, we're going to set this to a tube, and then we'll put this post as well. We'll set this to a bandpass 2, so get some added acid, and then we'll set this thing like around here. And then also we're gonna put this around 700. Put this envelope on here as well, so that's like another saturation cutoff. It's like another filter cutoff, which is just going to be only saturation that's going to be applied. And it's pretty quiet now, so we add a compressor onto that. Set it to multi-band. It's all about playing around with it when you're trying to find the sound. And we set the tube all the way up. Oh, now we got it. So really powerful, just using distortion on the acid sound, setting the bandpass up, and then setting the drive all the way up. Yeah, so that's the sound. And then with this sound, it requires a little bit more processing. Another bump in the mid-range. A little bit of reverb, and then some side tuning. I've got too much side tuning. Arpeggiator, 1/16 notes, gate. So this is like 80%. And then in the actual patch, again, this comes from my preset pack. So you actually set the wavetable to the acid wavetable for this one. And then second oscillator will just be a normal saw wave. Set the acid -2, the second oscillator -1 octave. And then we set this to a band 24 again, and this is going to be routed to the same filter. Again, it's like 800 milliseconds. Also So you see this is also routed to the wavetable position. Around here, play around with it as always. Set this to mono and set this to portamento around 20 milliseconds as well. Now the envelope won't be 0 because we've already set this an arpeggiate on this, but you still want the sustain to be around -8 and 400 milliseconds. Again, you don't have to copy like word for word everything that I do. You just do what sounds good for you, you know. Reverb. And then we're gonna put same thing, but then we're gonna put a harsh. We're gonna put harsh distortion on this, 100%. And then in the EQ, I want to bump up just a little bit of the frequency range, around like the 1K mark. And then I've also set these in to change them. Sounds pretty. You can support me in my sample packs. They're coming out soon. I'm putting a lot of effort and a lot of time into these. Hope you guys enjoy it. Last thing I'm going to show you the bass. It's a pretty simple bass, not gonna lie. So I've got my dialed bass here. Basic shapes, saw, -2 octaves, and then a square wave as well. I set the cutoff envelope to set that both A and B, and then actual envelope, the amp, set to that mono legato, distortion, as crazy as you want. Parallel saturated 50%. Super simple, and it's super hard as well. Then in the actual processing of it, just give it a little bass boost, 100 Hz mark, and then also warm up highs, saturation plugin. I put the color off and just 8 dB. You really want for a Mischluft style track for it to be really crunchy and really fuzzy and saturated. Again, put an ozone imager onto this as well, just to give it a little brightness, and then show the rest, and you just compress it, sidechain it. That's the MIDI for the first track. Very groovy and still offbeat. Simple as well. Some normal slaps, normal snares, and house open hat, closed hats as well, and then just a little bit of effects for every 8 bars. You guys pretty minimal Mischluft on the actual percussion elements. It's usually the vocals that carry it. Found this tutorial useful and it helped you out how to make some good Mischluft style acid lines or leads, make sure to give it a like, give me a subscribe as well. It means a lot to me, and send me what you're making as well. I'd love to see what you guys are making. If you don't want to give it a like for me, just give it a like for my dog. Give it a like for my dog. Give it a like for my dog. He's one of the broskies too. My #1 listener. Yeah, alright. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Make sure to follow my socials as well. Instagram for when I'm dropping new tutorials and I'm dropping new stuff, dropping new music as well. Also, I'm releasing a new track, AC/DC Edit. I'm super excited for it. I got a few good tutorials coming out as well. those tutorials are one, I've got probably the best build up you could imagine. If you made this far in the end, you're just hearing me rambling, then send me some of your music. I'd love to hear what you guys are making. If you want me to get any tutorials on some artists that you like, make sure to put them in the comments. Comment your favorite artists, comment your favorite songs, and I'll do recreations of them. Super fun to do. I love to give back to you guys as well, and teaching the people how to make some trance, because no one teaches you how to make trance music. See you guys in the next tutorial. Bye.